Ready to go!
Alrighty, ladies and gents, welcome to another technical breakdown episode. Today we're going to be taking apart all things top roll, all things outside pressures. It's one half of the story of arm wrestling. In terms of technique, we of course have the other side being inside pressures, but today we're going to look very specifically at all the different variations that you will see of outside pressures, i.e. top rolling, and we're going to break down the technical aspects of each one so you can better understand what it means to be a posting top roller, a low hand top roller, a exploding hand top roller, an open arm top roller, or even a king's mover. Alright, so let's break this down. Let's start with the posting top roll. Alright, you can see the posting top roll here by Travis Bagent. It happens quickly. I gotta press pause there. Travis Bagent, probably one of the best posting top rollers you'll ever find on the planet. Travis trains very much specifically keeping his wrist high, keeping his back pressure strong, close to his chin, and he does that very well here against Dave Chafee. I think this was the 2015 WAL right arm title match. So you can see straight away, look at the angle of Travis's hand and wrist right here. You can see it's straight up. There is no dropping of the hand and wrist. The knuckles are straight up, the back pressure is engaged. He has secured that position within the strap. Now from the go, if we look in the slow motion, I'll press play. You'll see as his hand closes, he is going to fill with back pressure now. There it is, into the fingers of Dave Chafee, preventing Dave from getting any wrist flexion, and then Travis adds the side pressure to get the win. All right, so that was pretty rapid fire on the posting top roll. That's number one, the posting top roll. As I said, Travis is probably one of the best proponents of that in the history of the sport. It's pretty much his ace. You don't see Travis really do many variations outside of it, but as he has proven, you can go all the way to the top of the world with simply a posting top roll. Alright, the next video that we are going to look at now is the low hand top roll. Now, who better to look at than Mr. John Brzenk himself, the greatest arm wrestler of all time, one of the best, no, actually, what am I saying? Not one of the best top roller in the history of the sport, the best arm wrestler in the history of the sport. So watching this man low hand top roll is going to be an absolute masterclass. Now, the match that I have chosen to show you this is, I think it was again the 2016, maybe 2015, I get my dates wrong. It was one of those years, 2015, 2016, WAL finals up against Marcio Barboza. Have a look at this amazing low hand top roll. Alright, you can see here we are, Marcio on the left of the screen. Starts early, John grips him low, rolls over with pronation, takes the hand and wrist of Marcio, and finishes the match. Let's have a look at it one more time. See, John's happy. Look, on a pause there, you can see right there in that moment is a perfect execution of what it is to low hand top roll. So what makes the low hand top roll different from the posting top roll is the wrist angle. Okay, so the wrist angle is no longer up in the air. This time the wrist is slightly dropped. Now what that does for you is it increases your containment. Where the posting top roll, the pressure is on this side of the hand. Okay, the low hand top roll, a lot of the pressure, the initial pressure, is about containment with your fingers and even wrist flexion. Once you've established containment, you then isolate by rising, rolling, and pivoting off your elbow, which you can see right here is what John is doing. He has contained Marcio was actually attempting to do a posting top roll. John has contained that with strong hands, fingers, wrist flexion, and now he's about to roll and take Marcio's wrist. Let's watch in the slow-mo. There goes Marcio's wrist. Full control now from John Brzenk. Marcio is looking for an escape, but it is too late, and the low hand top roll gets the win. Alright, so the low hand top roll probably, in my opinion, it's my favorite type of top roll. I like top rolls that control your opponent. The posting top roll really requires your opponent to hold on to you, where the low hand top roll, you can insist, you can make your opponent have to deal with this against their will. And so it's very much a control-based top roll. Alright, what we're going to go on to now is known as the exploding hand technique. Now the two gentlemen you're about to see in this are both amazing proponents of the exploding hand technique. Both of these guys have done it back and forth to each other throughout history, and they've done it to many, many other arm wrestlers as well on the elite level. I'm of course talking about Alan Fisher and Cobra Rhodes. So let's have a look at this match. Back free in the UAL. Alright, you can see here Alan Fisher getting his hands on top of Cobra Rhodes. That is really what defines the exploding hand technique. We will have a look at it again in replay. You can see Alan now pressing to finish, having compromised the hand of Cobra Rhodes, and that is again one of the critical things about the exploding hand technique that you'll see. It's about rising, getting your knuckles on top, regripping, and then transitioning forward in pressure. You'll see Alan doing that there for the victory. I'm going to pause this now and let's have a look at it more closely. So the exploding hand technique is when one athlete, or it's when both athletes try to rise and roll, and instead of continuing with a posting top roll, there's a transition. As soon as one person gets the knuckle dominance, and by knuckle dominance I simply mean your knuckles are slightly higher than your opponent's, you have the opportunity to open your hand, regrip, and come forward. Watch Alan Fisher do that right now. Here we go. There's the regrip on top of the knuckles. Now he has the height, and watch him transition to forward pressure after he establishes this height. Cobra Rhodes in trouble. Alan Fisher containing, more containing, more containing, and there is that forward pressure now, applying that and looking, excuse me, to continue applying that until Cobra Rhodes basically runs out of room. Alright, so the exploding hand technique, how it got its name, it's a long story. I think it was thanks to Cobra Rhodes himself. I think Giannis Amelin's hand actually literally exploded when Cobra did one of these moves. I think Giannis's hand busted apart and blood was going everywhere. You could literally see the bone, all that sort of stuff. The exploding hand technique. I could be wrong, but I know that is a true story regarding Giannis and Cobra. But I'm not sure if that's exactly where it was named. But either way, that was a great example of the exploding hand technique. Alrighty, the next top roll method we're going to see is the open arm top roll. Not the King's move, but the open arm top roll, and we are going to have a look at a great match from the 2017 World Arm Wrestling Federation Championships between Sabin Badalescu and Levan Sanganishvili. I have featured this match before in different videos. It's such a good example of an open arm top roll. I think Sabin truly is one of the world's best when it comes to the open arm top roll, and what defines the open arm top roll is exactly that. The arm goes beyond the 90 degrees. It is well and truly open. It's still very much a pronation based weapon, but it is not a King's move. All right, so let's have a look at it here. All right, Sabin Badalescu against Sanganishvili. You can see there, Sabin totally having opened up his arm. His pronation is immovable. Levan can't get his wrist flexion, and Levan not being able to get into a hook or being able to get a top roll away of his own. Sabin gets the win. So let's have a look at it one more time. I want to see that a little bit more detailed. Watch again. Watch again from the initiation. All right, where is it? Okay, here we come for the initiation. Here we go. Sabin Badalescu, open arm straight away. Levan looking for side pressure. He can't hook, he can't top roll. He's stuck in between his own decisions on moves. And Sabin fills that gap and has better access to side pressure because of it. And there's the win. All right, so the open arm top roll, it's not a King's move. Let's just say that. The open arm top roll is not a King's move. And the reason I say it's not a King's move is there is a difference. And you will see that in the next one. I believe the King's move has one extra component to it that the open arm top roll doesn't. For it to remain an open arm top roll, the athlete essentially stays on the point of their elbow the whole time. Okay, they're still in that original position. They're not changing from that. They're happy to be dragging, pronating, and rising is the key components of the open arm top roll. There is a significant difference to the King's move, which we will see in the next one. But for now, let's focus on the open arm top roll, which, let's face it, it is a very difficult move to get through. If you ever faced an open arm top roll, you hit them sideways, your hand busts, you go to top roll and they drag against you. It's very difficult. It's a suffocating feeling in your hand and wrist is slowly being overwhelmed. So the open arm top roller, a very, very good defensive option. All right, let's go on to the King's move, the ultimate defensive option and the one that is causing the most controversy in the world of arm wrestling of late. Which better match to look at it than, of course, Devon Larratt against Todd Hutchins. We did feature this match not so long ago, but let's have a look specifically at what defines the King's Move. Alright, you can see here, Devon Larratt and Todd Hutchins. Now, this match is not yet in a King's Move. We're in a hook at the moment, but watch Devon Larratt. He will transition to a King's Move very shortly. It's coming up. Here we go. And there is the King's Move. Now, I'm going to pause there and tell you why this is the King's Move rather than an open arm top roll. The reason this is the King's Move rather than the open arm top roll is Devon has transitioned from the point of his elbow to the inside of his elbow. When he goes to the inside of his elbow, the pronation is enhanced, and that's what really ultimately stops someone from being able to pin the King's Move. It's pronation at the death, and that pronation not only comes from the hand and wrist traditionally like an open arm top roll, but it adds when you go to the inside of your elbow. So if I fully pronate my wrist and stay on the point, that's as far as I go. If I go to the inside of my elbow, my pronation has another almost 90 degrees of rotation. That extra 90 degrees of rotation in the hand and wrist is what makes it a King's Move. Now, to get to that position, as I said, you got to be on the inside of your elbow. So you can see Devon's on the inside of his elbow here in a fully fledged King's Move. And because of it, playing on now, Todd Hutchins' wrist is back and he can't get access to the finishing force. Now, this match goes on for a while, and I don't think I'm going to show you the full match because it goes forever. I think they're going to end up standing up again, and Devon's going to end up putting it back into some degree of hook, and then it's going to go on, and then Devon will finish with a press, which is all coming up. But we're here to look specifically at the King's Move, so I'm pretty sure I've built in a replay of just that critical moment. There it comes, ready to transition to the King's Move one more time, drops to the inside of his elbow and gets the stop. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the King's Move. That inside elbow, that extra pronation and added rotation is really, for me, what defines the King's Move. And don't confuse it with the open arm top roll, which I know Engen Terzi is a big believer of. Anyway, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed that one. That was the broad-brushed technical overview of all things arm wrestling in a top roll and outside sense. As I said, there are many other forms of arm wrestling, just as many options on the inside as well when you're talking about hooking and pressing and things like that, shoulder rolls, there's a lot. But anyway, I hope you got something out of this. If you learned something from it, please hit the like button, hit the share button, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. It'd mean the world to me. And guys, as always, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time.
Yes, that's a man!